Do you think that Michael Jordan would be as successful without you?
No.
When Michael Jordan stood on the stage at his Hall of Fame induction, surrounded by the weight of his greatness, the first person he thanked wasn't his coach or family. It was Scottie Pippen.
You never just saw me, saw Scottie Pippen.
And there's no game that I would ever play in and pick LeBron James over Michael Jordan.
Because the truth is, Jordan never won a single championship without him. This is the story of Scottie Pippen, the humble kid from Arkansas who became the backbone of the Chicago Bulls dynasty, the man who defined what it means to be a perfect teammate, and a player whose greatness often hid in plain sight. Through his rise, struggles, triumphs, and heartbreaks, Pippen proved that you don't need to be the loudest voice or the flashiest star to change the course of basketball history. Early life, the making of a fighter. Scottie Pippen was born in the small town of Hamburg, Arkansas, the youngest of 12 children in a working-class family. His father, Preston, worked at a paper mill, and his mother, Ethel, was a homemaker. But life took a hard turn when Preston suffered a stroke, leaving him confined to a wheelchair. Suddenly, the Pippen family was struggling to make ends meet. Scottie's high school days weren't filled with fanfare. At 6 feet 1 inch and skinny as a rail, he played point guard but rarely saw meaningful minutes on the court until his senior year. There were no college offers, no scouts knocking on his door. His basketball dreams were fading fast until his high school coach stepped in and made a call that would change everything. The University of Central Arkansas agreed to bring Pippen on as a team manager, not a player, just to give him a shot to stay close to the game. But then fate intervened. Between his freshman and sophomore years, Pippen had a sudden and extraordinary growth spurt. He shot up to 6 feet 8 inches and developed a jaw-dropping 7 feet 3 inches wingspan. With his point guard skills now trapped in a forward's body, Pippen became a monster on the court. He averaged 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 4.5 assists on 60% shooting his senior year. Still, scouts doubted whether his small college dominance would translate to the pros. But Bulls GM Jerry Krause saw something others didn't. And during the 1987 NBA draft, he worked a trade with Seattle to secure Pippen at the number 5 pick. That move would change Chicago's destiny. The early Bulls years, building a contender. Before Pippen arrived, the Bulls were a one-man show led by Michael Jordan. Jordan was dazzling, but the team was going nowhere, knocked out in the first round of the playoffs year after year. As a rookie, Pippen came off the bench, struggling to adjust to the speed and physicality of the NBA. But when Game 5 of the first-round playoffs arrived, Pippen got his first start, delivering 24 points, 5 assists, and 3 steals. The Bulls advanced. The Pistons waited. For the next 2 years, Detroit's bad boys repeatedly crushed Chicago's dreams. In 1990, the Bulls fell in a brutal 7-game series. Pippen was haunted by migraines in Game 7, scoring just 2 points on 1 for 10 shooting. The first three-peat, redemption and glory. Everything changed in 1991. Under new coach Phil Jackson, the Bulls became a machine. Jordan won MVP, but Pippen's growth into a two-way force transformed the team. Averaging 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists, Scottie became Chicago's engine. When they finally faced the Pistons, the Bulls didn't just beat them, they humiliated them, sweeping Detroit in the Eastern Conference Finals. In the finals against the Lakers, Jordan dazzled, but it was Pippen's defense on Magic Johnson that tilted the series. In Game 5, Pippen led both teams in scoring and rebounding, delivering 32 points and 13 boards as Chicago captured its first NBA title. The following year, Pippen elevated again. 21 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and All-Star honors. In the finals against Portland, he guarded Clyde Drexler, fueled the fast break, and helped clinch title number 2. That summer, Pippen joined the Dream Team, winning Olympic gold and solidifying his global reputation. By 1993, the Bulls were chasing history. Fatigued from years of championship runs, they struggled in the regular season, but came alive in the playoffs. Against Phoenix in the finals, Pippen averaged nearly a triple-double, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, and played suffocating defense on Charles Barkley. Chicago completed the three-peat. Without Jordan, the leader emerges. Tragedy struck in 1993 when Jordan's father was murdered. Reeling, MJ retired. Suddenly, the Bulls were Pippen's team. Some thought Scottie would morph into a volume scorer, but that wasn't his game. Instead, he elevated every part of his skill set. 22 points, 8.7 rebounds, 5.6 assists, and a career-high 2.9 steals per game. He led Chicago to a 55-27 record, just 2 wins shy of the year before. Pippen earned All-Star MVP, First-Team All-NBA, and First-Team All-Defense honors, finishing third in MVP voting. But leadership came with its challenges. In the 1994 Eastern Semifinals, coach Phil Jackson called the final play for Tony Kukoc. Feeling disrespected, Pippen sat out the play. Kukoc nailed the game winner, but the damage was done. To Pippen's credit, he apologized to the team. Despite a legendary dunk over Patrick Ewing in Game 7, the Bulls fell to the Knicks. But Scottie's reputation as a leader was cemented. The return, the second three-peat, and the last dance. Jordan returned in 1995, but the Bulls fell short that season. Then came Dennis Rodman, the league's most ferocious rebounder, and the Bulls soared. In 1996, they won a record 72 games. Pippen, as always, was the ultimate connector, balancing scoring, defense, and playmaking. In the finals against Seattle, Pippen was everywhere. In 1997, he dropped a career-high 47 points against Denver and tied the NBA Finals record with 7 three-pointers in Game 3 against the Utah Jazz. And then, of course, came the 1997 flu game. As a sick and exhausted Jordan collapsed into his arms, Pippen carried his teammate off the court, a moment that perfectly captured their bond. By 1998, tension with management boiled over. Pippen delayed surgery as a protest, missing the first half of the season. When he returned, he played through agonizing back pain in the finals against Utah, often reduced to a decoy. Still, the Bulls prevailed, winning their 6th championship. The final chapters and the unwritten legacy. After the dynasty ended, Pippen joined the Houston Rockets alongside Hakeem Olajuwon and Charles Barkley, but the experiment fizzled. He then moved to Portland, where the Blazers came within 1/4 of the NBA Finals before a legendary Lakers comeback snatched it away. In the twilight of his career, Pippen returned to Chicago for a final season, more a mentor than a star, a symbolic homecoming for a man who had given the city everything. Scottie Pippen's place in history. Scottie Pippen wasn't just a sidekick, he was a pioneer. Along with Larry Bird, he helped invent the point forward position, a player who could initiate the offense, score like a guard, and defend every position on the floor. Pippen's combination of lateral quickness, length, and instincts made him a nightmare matchup. A man who could disrupt a possession without ever touching the ball. And let's be clear, the Bulls don't win 6 championships without Pippen. Without Scottie, there's no full-court press, no seamless ball movement, no defensive backbone. Without Scottie, Jordan doesn't have the freedom to focus almost entirely on scoring. In the conversation of all-time greats, Pippen's name deserves to be spoken with reverence. He's not just one of the 5 or 6 greatest small forwards ever. He's one of the greatest teammates the game has ever known. Scottie Pippen's greatness wasn't built on headlines or highlight reels. It was built on sacrifice, grit, and a relentless commitment to winning. He didn't just play the game, he elevated everyone around him. And in doing so, Scottie Pippen became immortal.